Controlled explosions at Ukrainian mines like these could be key to the country's survival. Ukraine and the United States have reportedly reached a deal on rare earth minerals. While the terms of the deal have not been publicly disclosed, the agreement could be signed as early as Friday, as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy makes a visit to Washington.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that he's coming on Friday. Certainly, it's okay with me if he'd like to, and he would like to sign it together with me, and I understand that's a big deal.
Trump also signaled a willingness for a peacekeeping force to be deployed in Ukraine following a ceasefire in the current conflict, though implied Russia might need to agree.
But you're going to need some form of peacekeeping, so something will be done that's going to be satisfactory to everybody.
Trump's demand for access to Ukraine's minerals comes as Kyiv seeks to shore up support in Washington, its largest single source of military aid, in its fight against Russia's 3-year invasion. Trump has promised to make a deal that brings a swift end to the war. But what exactly are rare earth minerals?
Rare earth elements are not actually rare. They've held on to that name since the late 1700s. They're used in all manner of electronics, technologies, and high-performance alloys.
Beyond ensuring supplies of the critical metals for American companies, the U.S. may have another strategic concern: China.
Trump wants rare earths because the American economy is highly dependent on Chinese sources, and it's an economic and national security risk. And in order to avoid that the Chinese will take over Ukrainian rare earths commodities and build up potential mines there, it's an option for the Americans.
The proposed deal comes amid a sea change in the U.S. position on the war in Ukraine, shocking its European allies, many of which may be headed for a major realignment of their post-war security agreements.
This idea that everything depends on American security guarantees is understandable that European leaders feel that way because that's the world they've lived in for the last 80 years. But that's no longer the world they live in. They need an independent defense policy, and they need stronger, bigger militaries and defense industries to defend themselves.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, for example, is cutting foreign aid and aiming to raise defense spending to as high as 3% of GDP.
So starting today, I can announce this government will begin the biggest sustained increase in defense spending since the end of the Cold War.
Whatever the terms of the rare earths deal, U.S. allies from Europe to Ukraine are struggling to keep up with a rapidly changing security situation as Trump upends the long-established Western-led world order. James Lin and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.